Third time's the charm, as they say. I started this and have restarted it twice now. The first time, the recording software I was using didn't think I was logged in, and so it was only allowing me to make demo videos of 15 minutes. Yeah, anyway. Um, and then I tried again, and for some reason, even though previously I'd had the camera up, it had turned it off. Anyway, okay, so Oklahoma. We're talking about Oklahoma today. Oklahoma is from Okla and Humma, which are two words from the Choctaw language, and they mean red people. Now, this was proposed as the name of the territory because there were a lot of Native Americans in the area. We'll get to that in just a second. But there was a Choctaw chief. His name was Joseph or Allen Wright, and in the 1860s he proposed that be the name of the territory. Um, and then the when Oklahoma joined the Union, that became its name, Oklahoma. All right. So Oklahoma is called Native America because of the influence of a lot of Native American culture in the area. And again, we'll get to that. There are a lot of tribes. Some of the tribes are the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw. Sorry about that. The Muskogee, Seminole, uh, and I think we'll leave it at that for now. It was called Native America because of the culture. Let's go to the next part. So, Oklahoma. Some of the facts about the state. November 16th, 1907 is when it became a state in the United States. I want you to take note of the shape of Oklahoma right now. We'll be getting into that in just a bit, especially that it's called the Panhandle. It's that spot that juts out over the state of Texas. Um, population, capital city is Oklahoma City. Population is over 4 million, making it the 28th most populous state. It has a area of 69,898 miles squared, and that means 181,038 kilometers squared. It's the 21st largest state, and the four largest cities are Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, and Broken Arrow. Okay, so prior to gaining statehood in the 19th century, Oklahoma was known as Indian Territory. And because of the policies of the United States at the time, which was to relocate tribes so that the settlers could take over the area, or because they were being a nuisance, or whatever the case may be, um, they relocated a lot of Native American tribes to Oklahoma. Now, this became known as the Trail of Tears. There were a lot of these tribe members that had to walk thousands of miles, and people died along the way. It was particularly Black Day in history of the United States, and it became known, as I said, as the Trail of Tears. Um, I've heard that there's a curse called the Trail of Tears curse, which is why presidents who are elected in a year ending with a zero tend to be assassinated. If you look back, that's usually when presidents uh, were assassinated, if they were elected or died, assassinated or died in office. They were elected in a year with a zero. Uh, anyway, so as I was saying, Indian territory in the 19th century. However, uh, the United States wanted to push its boundaries further west, and so they started opening up land further west for settlement. Technically, it was owned by the United States that at that particular point in time, and so they had these land runs where they had, lotteries and a whole bunch of other stuff to determine who could start settling a particular place. And so a lot of settlers came to Oklahoma at this point in time. Statehood, November 16th, 1907. Then we had an oil boom, and this caused a whole bunch of other problems, plus a lot of prosperity economically in the state. That was in the early 20th century. However, then we hit the 1930s. Now, if you know about history, 1929 was when the stock market crashed. 1930 is when we is the 1930s is when we get into this Dust Bowl. Now, a lot of states in the central part of the United States, they had severe drought conditions. And what ended up happening is that with the severe drought conditions, there was nothing to keep the soil damp. So you had a lot of wind coming through the area and just kicking up these massive, massive dust storms. In fact, John Steinbeck set his novel, The Grapes of Wrath, in this area, in this time frame. Yeah. Then we roll into the Civil Rights Movement, which was pretty strong in Oklahoma. We had Ralph Ellison and Clara Luper as figures in the civil rights movement at the time. And then because going back to that Dust Bowl, because of that, a lot of states started diversifying their economy. They realized that they couldn't just rely on one particular thing to sustain their state economically. So they diversified, and we'll get into that in just a bit. Okay, Oklahoma geography, climate. Geography, we're talking about for Oklahoma the Great Plains, the Ozark Plateau, the Red River Valley, the Wichita Mountains, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. Now, the Great Plains, it's the western and central part of the state, and this is, as I said, that flat Dust Bowl area. Now, because of the Great Plains being what they are, this is a particularly fertile part of the state, so you got a lot of wheat, cotton, cattle ranching, a lot of agriculture going on there. The Ozark Plateau, that is in the northeastern corner of the state. It's part of the Ozark Mountains. Then you have the Red River Valley. Again, this is another agricultural spot in the state. It is fertile soil, flatter terrain. It is the southern part of the state. And then we have the Wichita Mountains, and that's it's a small mountain range in western Oklahoma. Then we have the Oklahoma Panhandle. That's kind of treated as like even a separate part, almost like it's not part of the state. It's called the High Plains, and sparse population, very flat terrain, not much there. Moving on into the climate. The climate is a continental climate. It has the four distinct seasons. Summer, the temperatures are between 90 and 100 degrees, which is 32 to 38 degrees Celsius. In the fall, the temperatures get cooler. We have 60s to 80s, which is 15 to 30 degrees. Apparently, this is when it's comfortable to be in the state. Winter, it is cold in Oklahoma. Not a lot of snow, though. They have ice storms that can be a problem. Then we have spring. Spring is when basically the weather runs amok. And this is when you have those the tornadoes and things. Oklahoma being in Tornado Alley. They get a lot of from my perspective, this is a lot of precipitation. 35 to 45 inches, which is 89 to 114 centimeters. It's pretty evenly distributed, slightly wetter in the spring. Then, of course, Tornado Alley can be a thing there. Nope, it's too far. The biggest industries in Oklahoma are energy, agriculture, aerospace and defense, manufacturing, healthcare, technology and information services, aviation, natural resources and mining, tourism, and education. Now, we have in energy, Chesapeake Energy, Devon Energy, Continental Resources, WPX Energy. Agriculture, we have Oklahoma Farm Bureau, we have Tyson Foods, Cargill, JBS USA. In the aerospace and defense, Tinker Air Force Base, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin. In healthcare, we have Navistar International, Kimray. No, this is manufacturing, not healthcare. Sorry about that. National Oil Well Barco, Webco Industries. Now we're getting into healthcare, which is OU Health, Integris Health, St. Francis Health Systems, apparently Mercy, which is a Catholic health care system that's in the state. In technology and information services, we have Paycom, Saxum, DDM Systems, Astel Inc. Aviation, Spirit Aerosystems, American Airlines, Nordam. In the natural resources and mining, Phillips 66, Billy's Brothers Company, Watco Companies. Then we're going to skip tourism for now. And education, we have University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State University, University of Tulsa, Oklahoma City University, and the list goes on. Okay, so now into the tourism. Finally, we're at the tourism. A lot of outdoor activities in the state. They have plenty of national parks. They're Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge, Tallgrass Prairie Preserve, Chickasaw National Recreation Area. So you have hiking, biking, fishing, camping, all that stuff. And there's a lot of Native American culture still in the state. So we have a lot of the tribes. As I said, we have the Cherokee Heritage Center, Chickasaw Cultural Center, and there are obviously more. Each tribe, there are a lot of similarities between the tribes, but they are distinct. And because of that, you can have a museum that's completely dedicated to one tribe, but you can also have museums that have a vast array of artifacts and have examples of all the tribes that were from the area. Route 66, Main Street of America, goes through Oklahoma, and you can go to the Oklahoma Route 66 Museum in Clinton. And there's a lot of Western heritage, so you have the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. There's art, history, rodeos, all sorts of stuff. And then adventure sports. Apparently, they have zip lining, rock climbing, whitewater rafting, and they have some adventure parks in the state. So, a lot of historic sites that are kind of thrown in there. Fort Gibson, Will Rogers, Pawnee Bill Ranch Museum. That's what you can expect there in. Go to that slide. Eesh. That's what you can expect if you go to Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma has laws against whale hunting. Now, if you remember back to the map on the second image, there's no body of water near Oklahoma that you could even hunt a whale, uh, let alone shoot one from a moving car, both of which are illegal in Oklahoma. Now, you may not tattoo a minor, even with parental consent. You can go get a tattoo as long as you're above 18. So, yeah, there you go. Public dance halls. You may not operate a public dance hall and serve alcohol. Um, okay, let me back up. There's two caveats here to the public dance hall. You may operate a public dance hall as long as there's no alcohol But if you are serving alcohol, the women cannot wear anything less than a full-length dress. Yeah. So they can wear whatever they want, apparently, if you don't serve alcohol. But if you do serve alcohol, you can't. They have to wear. Girls have to wear a full-length dress. So yeah. Whistling underwater uh, is illegal. I mean, you can't whistle underwater. It, yeah. You may not molest an automobile. Apparently, parked cars and lewdness. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there was some guy that was always doing some weird crap, and they just said, "Okay, no more of that." And he's like, "Well, it's not illegal," so they had to make it illegal. So yeah, horse tripping. You may not trip horses. It's illegal. I mean, you don't want to trip a horse. It could really screw up the horse. Uh, but excuse me. But I mean, the fact that they had to make it illegal, was there that much horse tripping going on? And then if you may not eat Limburger cheese on a Sunday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, weird stuff here. Okay, now this crazy critter is called the paddlefish. There's a lot of them in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has the largest concrete totem pole. Look up what a totem pole is, but it's in Foyle, Oklahoma, and it's 90 feet tall. Yeah. They also have the blue whale of Catoosa. This guy, let's see, it's along Route 66. Um, there's a swimming hole. It's not a pool. It's just like a place where you can go swimming. Um, yeah. You may keep a prairie dog as a pet in some places of the state. Um, they have also the waving wheat sculpture in Enid, Oklahoma. Apparently, there's a lot of wheat and it waves as people drive by, so they created a sculpture. It's on Highway 412. Yeah. Bigfoot. They do have legends of Bigfoot in Oklahoma. I didn't think they did. It seemed to be a Pacific Northwest kind of thing, but yeesh, almost every state so far has had some. I shouldn't say that. There have been a lot of states so far that have had Bigfoot so, yeah, sightings and things that I just wouldn't have thought of. So yeah. Um, Paddlefish, it's the world's largest population of paddlefish. Uh, this is what a paddlefish looks like. They just have a great big flat paddle nose. They use it to dig up the dirt. I've heard that they taste like mud. So, never had one, but I know someone who's caught one. I think he did it just to say that he caught a paddlefish. But he said that they were disgusting. Uh, they have a copy or a replica, I should say, of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It was built in Nardin, Oklahoma, as a tourist attraction in the 1930s. So yeah, and they have the. I'm going to talk about the world's largest McDonald's. It's in Oklahoma City, and yeah, world's largest McDonald's. And now we're going to go back to the World Cow Chip throwing championship in Beaver, Oklahoma. You can go and become the world champion cow chip thrower. Now, cow chip is not as innocuous as it seems. If you don't know anything about cows and herding cattle and things like that, uh, you don't know what a cow chip is. You may think it's like a potato chip shaped like a cow, or maybe it is a poker chip shaped like a cow or with a cow on it. No, it's cow crap. It's cow dung. And for some reason, in Beaver, Oklahoma, they pick up cow dung and they throw it. Yeah. Oklahoma, what happened to you? I don't know. But throwing cow dung is not a good idea. Anyway, that's it for Oklahoma. Let me know if you've been there. Let me know what you thought. Let me know, the comments are down below for you for a reason. Um, Go ahead and like, subscribe, put the bell on so you get notified when I make these videos, and see you next time.